Slick to a guard, new money, young money. Money, young money, I like the way that sound. You get to looking at me funny, it's a. They be so mad I'm getting money.
What's going
on?
But that money cannot change you, that's your
problem.
You thinking money could unlame you, that's the
Been a crazy week, you know what I'm saying, in sports.
You know what I mean?
You make it everybody.
Specifically football, what a crazy things happen, man.
Some people make everything somebody else's problem, right?
That is very true, you know what I'm saying? You know, I just happen to see a whole lot of problems within organizations that are supposed to be contenders, playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders. I don't like what I'm seeing. Especially with the coaches.
How does the offense falter and that becomes a defensive coach's problem?
Hey, they say you the head coach. You're not a defensive coach. You're not an offensive coach. You the head coach, Mark. That's how they run it.
Well, then why isn't he allowed to be the head coach and hire his own OT?
Well, first off, you're distracted.
That's the problem, right?
Here, everything is distracting you from this, Mark.
All these new rappers got a drug.
There's an offensive genius, you know. There's an offensive genius in Denver right now that has been completely abysmal. That offense has been way worse than the Jets offense. And nobody's saying a word about him needing to be fired, all right? So I don't know what's going on. I watched the quarterback get 65 yards passing. I see a lot of, 60 yards passing over there. Nobody bats an eye. I guess the only thing that matters when you're a head coach is the win-loss call compared to what they thought you were going to get.
Maybe that's the problem. I'm going to just let y'all know that I'm going to be playing with this word problem all night.
But that money cannot change you, that's your... You thinking money could unlame you, that's the...
Well, you got plenty of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, because there's a lot of problems out there, right?
A whole lot of material to pull.
All these new rappers got a drug. She want me to throw money at a club.
And, for those that are listening, just to let you know, this is a Goods the Animal freestyle problem. Apparently, you can only find it on Facebook Reels. For some reason, he doesn't have it on his YouTube.
That seems like he's somebody who likes money. And it doesn't sound like he likes money like that, Mark.
Not when you're not capitalizing on views. But anyway, man, you ready to come roll with me?
I don't even know why you were wondering that way.
You ready to roll with me and do this podcast?
I'm ready. I'm ready to be original. That's what I'm ready to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to be original. You know, none of this roll with me. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate here, Mark.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You want to come roll with me, you know?
No. Or else there will be a problem. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get no copyright strikes. Let's go.
Man. Anyway. Look, guys. We got an episode for you. I don't know how packed it will be, but we got an episode because, man, breaking news. I know a lot of you have seen it today. NFL, in the NFL rather, Robert Saleh has been fired. He has been let go. He has been given his walking papers. And not only, well, see, here's the thing. I said that he's been given his walking papers, but I don't think he was allowed to walk out the building.
They threw him out the back like Jazzy Jeff, man. That's crazy. Like, look, man.
Like they said the rumor is that they met him at the door and escorted him out with the security. He wasn't allowed to talk to players or nothing.
I mean, we talking about him. Like, yeah, not letting them talk to the players on the way out, Mark. That was absolutely ridiculous. Hey, at least talk to my guys. No.
What did he do? Like, what did he do?
There's so many rumors. You know what? Let's dive into the room, because this shit, everything about this, Mark, sounds like a witch hunt, right? Sounds like a witch hunt. You know, they're like, wait a minute. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie you up. Okay, we're gonna put you in the water. Now, if you get out of it, you a witch, and we gotta kill you. Okay, but if you can't get out of it and you drown, well, then our problem's solved. It doesn't matter. It's too late now. So like, so let's be honest, man. If the Jets still suck after this, they're not going to be like, oh man, we made a mistake. Absolutely not. They're not. It's over with, man. You already gone, man. So,
but you know what's the interesting or the funniest part about this is that they fired the defensive-minded head coach. And then you want to know who they made the interim head coach?
Yeah, the defensive coordinator. Now, here's the crazy thing. The defensive coordinator that studied under the head coach that you just fired, who was also previously a defensive coordinator, you essentially said, we're not going to change nothing. Except for just getting rid of your name on the little placard on the door. That's it. We're not changing nothing here.
Everything is going to be the exact same.
But Mark,
Saleh will be
hear me out, though. Hear me out. I got all kind of analogies for this, yo. I already gave you the witch hunt. This is a better one. You know, I'm gonna tell a little story with it too, man. So I come home from work. This is when I'm in Clovis, New Mexico. I come home from work after swing shift. I'm tired, man. I lay down on the couch. All the lights are off. I got the TV going, and something bothered me. I was already irritated from work, and I saw something cast a shadow on the ground, and I was pissed off. Like, man, what the fuck is what's inside my house right now? Well, then it clicked. I was like, that's a fairly large shadow. Bro, I get up, and there's a camel spider in my living room, Mark, okay? Thing walking around my living room, I freak out, I get up, this thing ducks underneath the couch, I couldn't find it for like 3 minutes, which is terrifying to me. I just don't like spiders, Mark, okay? And I definitely don't like camel spiders. I find it, I kill it. You wanna know what I did with that camel spider, Mark? I gently placed it right outside of my doorstep, okay? I placed it there to warn any other camel spiders thinking about coming up in my house that this guy right here, that's what's gonna happen to you if you come up in here, okay? So I think what they did was, what did Cat Williams say? They decapitated Dave Chappelle right in front of us. You know what I'm saying? To send a message. Look, man, he's saying, look, you're a DC, he was a DC. Defensive coach, see what he did? He don't want to get with the program. He can't get along with Aaron Rodgers. No, you can have his job. Remember how you got here. Remember exactly how you got here, man. So yeah. I'm just saying, look, man, I'm just saying, it looks like they specifically hired somebody that was just going to do whatever they're told. Because it's like, hey, we could have put Nathaniel Hackett up there, but we're not going to. We want to be very clear to you. We want you to do everything that we ask you to do. We still want our defense to be good, but we want you to shut the hell up in color when the time comes, whenever Aaron Rodgers speaks.
Well, here's a little thing from Benchwarmer Brand that pretty much perfectly encapsulates the situation that happened.
Oh, God, here we go.
Albert, you ready for the Bills this week?
Yeah,
No, you're not, because you're fired.
You're firing me? Why?
The team just isn't meeting expectations.
The defense has been great, and that's what I'm in charge of. If you're gonna fire anyone, fire Hackett.
Oh, we can't do that. Strict orders from the boss.
Woody told you not to fire Hackett?
No, the actual boss. Aaron Hackett is my boo bear, and I will protect him.
I should have known you had something to do with this.
You tried to hug me.
That's what this is about?
That, and you didn't let me do whatever I want literally all the time. That was a real deal breaker.
This franchise is such a joke. No wonder Bill Belichick only spent 5 minutes here before scribbling his resignation on a napkin. Guys saw what a shit show this place was and couldn't get out fast enough.
You know what? That's a
good point.
What, you've realized how messed up this all was and you're giving me another chance?
Oh God, no. You just mentioned Belichick and we need a new head coach.
What do you say, Bill? You want to come back to New York and bring this thing full circle?
No, eat shit and die.
You're right. We should probably name an interim coach first. We'll circle back. No, make Hackett the head coach.
Aaron, as much as we love doing everything you say and would drag our balls over 3 miles of broken glass if you asked us to, we really can't replace a head coach who got fired mid-season with the only other guy on the staff who did the same thing.
Fine, give it to the DC. He's just going to be my puppet anyway. We'll make sure his ass gets fitted for your hand right away. Wait, what?
Now, as far as permanent head coaches, who do you think we should go after if Bill's not interested?
I'm not. I've got a few ideas. Do they start with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Maybe. Fantastic.
Hey, Robert, you ready for the...
All right. So as you can see, that pretty much was spot on to what feels like happened.
Yeah, nah. Like I had a friend posted. He said Robert Saleh was fired by Aaron Rodgers, and he's like, "No, you read that right. That's exactly what happened." I mean, look, he threw him under the bus 2 weeks in a row at the post game conferences in front of everybody.
Yo, but hold on. This is all right, man. Just to let you guys know, we're going to have an episode coming up where we're going to break this down, the myth of Aaron Rodgers and everything that's going on with this situation. But, Doug, Aaron Rodgers, how does this happen? How does Aaron Rodgers go out there, throw 3 picks, 3 of them, and all 3 picks, it wasn't like it was a tip ball. It wasn't no tip drill, nothing like that. He wasn't hit on the throw or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just threw a pick. Like he just threw it to the other guy. Like he either overthrew his receiver or he threw it directly to a covered receiver. And Robert Saleh gets fired for Aaron Rodgers' decision making in the game. Robert Saleh got fired when he held this team to 23 points,
which is the highest point total of any game that they've played, that they've given up. They're actually only giving up 15.5 points a game. They lost the Broncos game holding them to 10 points. This is, when it comes to points scored, they're like 5th. Points scored against them, they're 5th. But
no, they are 5. They are They are 5th in points scored against them, and they're ranked the number 5 defense in the NFL currently.
Yeah, but I believe they're 2nd in yardage. They're a top 5 defense, man. Yeah. No matter which way you slice it, they're a top 5 defense. Aaron Rodgers is. I want to say this because I know he's going to do a separate thing. The word is that he don't like pre-snap motion, and that's one of the problems he had over at Green Bay. It's one of the reasons why he specifically wanted Nathaniel Hackett there, because Nathaniel Hackett is not really innovative, and that's what he likes about it. He feels like his best bet is to line up, see what the defense is in, and then work with that. Now, can you see why? Remember when I told you, I was like, I had a feeling, earlier, I said I had a feeling he was going to have one of these games. You know why? Because he's arrogant, man. He's too arrogant. He's too arrogant to respect the Vikings defense enough to say, I know they're going to give me one look and then possibly a second look, and then when they snap the ball, possibly a third look. He just feels like he's smarter than every defensive coordinator in the league.
Well, real question, do you think Aaron Rodgers film studies these days?
Mark, I don't think Aaron Rodgers spends a lot of time film studying. And what I mean by that, and I don't want this to come off as disrespectful, I think he's just naturally gifted when it comes to remembering how defenses play, remembering players' tendencies. And I also believe that when he does study film, he's not studying the way that he should be studying. Because if you look at most of his big plays, what is it? Throughout his history of him playing the game, it's either him force feeding the ball to an elite receiver, or him watching the play break down and finding an open receiver. He's very good. He's very good. Snap, drop back, throw to somebody. He's really good. But in the games that you see where he struggles, the playoff games, it goes the same way every time. They double cover his best receiver, and then they say you're going to have to nickel and dime me to get your shit off, or you're going to have to just play above the rim. And every time they ask him to do that, it doesn't happen. And if he's as great of a quarterback as he's supposed to be, then there's no way that you're going to convince me that he's actually studying film the way he's supposed to be and can't get that done, Mark.
Right.
That's my assessment. I don't think he's really studying film. And I definitely don't think he's doing it now. I don't think he probably has to study film in 2 years. Like, who's making him study film in New York? I don't think nobody can.
Well,
only thing he's doing is telling Nathaniel Hackett what he likes. Also shit that I like.
I just I find it. This is why the Jets are the Jets, man. I find it interesting that you fired the one guy. You fired the head coach, but you fired what he's in charge of is what was working. What the one thing that you allowed him to be in charge of is what was working, because he doesn't pick the offensive coordinator. He doesn't pick offensive personnel, because I don't think Alan Lazard would be on the team if he was able to pick the offensive personnel. Wasn't what's his name on the team? Randall Cobb was on the team last year or the year before?
He was on the team last year.
Yeah. Randall Cobb wouldn't have been a Jet neither if Robert Saleh truly got to pick who was on the team.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. Like, what he was allowed to do was working, because what he was allowed to do had you as the number 5 defense this year. And you were the number 12 defense last year when Aaron Rodgers went down. And I think the only reason why you guys were at 12 last year is because you had a quarterback that kept giving the other offenses multiple opportunities because of his turnovers.
Yeah.
And then the year before that, you were the number 4 defense. So in 2022 under Robert Saleh, you was the number 4. In 2023, you was the number 12. And this year, you're the number 5. And his first year, when he first got the team, they were dead last in defense. So you see a growth in defense. And prior to him taking over, they were the bottom half of defenses. I could list off all the numbers if you guys wanted to hear them, but just trust me that they were in the bottom half of defenses. The highest that they ever were before him in the Todd Bowles or the Adam Gase era was 16.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So yeah, it's weird. The one thing I want to dispel is this: everybody has been saying that Robert Saleh is a bad coach, and I'm not just talking about right now. They've been saying it since he got there that he is a bad coach. After year 1, they said he was a bad coach. After year 2, they're like, he still doesn't look like if he was a good coach, he would be doing better. And that's kind of been the narrative in the public and to the average fan, that they just look over there and they say, well, he must not be a good coach. And to me, this is the craziest thing. He was a player's coach. He's a player's coach. He took care of, he was the one who galvanized the team with the Niners when he was the DC. He obviously did that on the defensive side of the ball when he got to the Jets. Clearly, they follow him. The DC that they have, that they put in place to be the head coach right now, he is They're saying that he is a hit within the organization and the players as well. Where did he get that from, Mark? You know what I'm saying? So to me, you're saying this dude came in and on top of getting the defense right, he actually breathed some life into the locker room, which I feel like I've at least seen that there's hope in the locker room, right?
Right.
He brought that, you know what I'm saying? But then you guys are gonna sit here and tell me that he hasn't done anything since he got there. Impossible situation having Zach Wilson as your quarterback, no offensive line, and then you finally realize, hey man, Joe Flacco looks okay here. And you know what you do? You let him walk, okay? You let him walk, and you make sure there's no backups there behind Zach Wilson. Mike White walked. Then you bring in Aaron Rodgers without him, and then you guys say we don't want a third string quarterback. We still going to keep Zach Wilson here. So when Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, it's still Zach Wilson. It's none of these things are decisions that were made by Robert Saleh, is what I'm getting at. And the things that he did have control over, like you said, Mark, I saw improvement.
Right. Just to be very clear, the last time that the Jets defense was higher than 10 was in 2015. They were 9th, which was Todd Bowles' first year, and in 2010, they were 6th, and that was under Rex Ryan. Okay. And since then, they have been, in all those other years that I didn't name, they were in the bottom half of defenses. And when I say the bottom half of defenses, I'm talking about like 19 to the deep 20s.
Yeah. So I want to get two things off real quick before we get off of the Jets, because I think it's important. Number one, where do you think Robert Saleh ends up? And where do you think he would be the best fit, whether you're talking about head coaching or DC? What do you think happens to him? And number two, because the Jets have announced that they're going with the interim head coach for the rest of the season. So who do you think the Jets are eyeing? If they're willing to say, look, we're not taking nobody right now, they got to be eyeing somebody that they want to start off with the offseason with, right? So who do you think the Jets are eyeing, and who do you think ends up there? So those two-part questions.
All right, who are they eyeing? I don't know, but who I hope, if Bill Belichick is coming back to coaching, I hope he goes to the Jets, because I hate anytime he gets associated with my team at all. So just go anywhere else, and so people stop associating you with the Eagles ever. Hey. But with that being said, that's that answer. Robert Saleh, I would love for Robert Saleh, if Robert Saleh came here as the defensive coordinator, I would love it. If Robert Saleh came, when I say here, I'm talking about Philadelphia Eagles, for those that are lost. And if he came here as the head coach / DC, I would love that. I would still love it. Because I would ideally, what I would like to see is Kellen Moore
calling plays.
Kellen Moore truly calling plays, and not the head coach interfering with the play calling of the offense. Because currently, Nick Sirianni is interfering with the play calling of the offense, and I'd rather just see Kellen Moore truly get the shot at calling the offense as the offensive coordinator. So if Robert Saleh was to come here next and be our head coach, I would love that, because he actually runs a 4-3 defense. And guess what, guys? Eagles defense is set up for 4-3. That's why it kind of doesn't work right now, is because you're using it as a 3-4. So, but anyway, that'll get me on a tangent about the Eagles. But
Yeah.
but I would love to see Robert Saleh either come here to Philadelphia as the defensive coordinator or as the head coach. If he came as the defensive coordinator, though, like I would love to see the Lions OC as the Eagles head coach.
Yeah, I like him. I actually like him a lot.
And I hope to God that the Lions OC does not go to the Jets. And this has nothing to do with him coming to the Eagles. I think the Lions OC is good, and I don't want to see him go to a franchise that's going to hinder anything that he wants to do. But I guess with that being said, I kind of don't want him to come to the Eagles neither, because like that's exactly what Howard Roseman does. He interferes with the coach and doesn't allow the coach to truly be a coach. So
yeah, so yeah, I'll say this. So for me, like where I think they're gonna go, like so I'll say this: Robert Saleh. There's a few things that make sense if you ask me. If he goes back to being a defensive coordinator, obviously you got to look at a team that has things put together offensively or things in place where it's like, okay, we might even have the personnel, we just don't have the right coach.
right.
So to me, if there's a team that's a defense away from being a contender, I'm gonna be real honest with you. Of course, I want him back with the Niners, right? But I don't see it happening for the purposes of if he's trying to make a name for himself. He doesn't want to be in a situation where people only think he's successful when he's paired up with Kyle Shanahan. So I could see him just being like that as last ditch effort. But so ruling out the Niners, Mark, I would have to say the Eagles. I agree with you. That is a perfect spot. Whether he's a head coach or OC, I agree with you fully there. If you're talking about Kellen Moore being a play caller, make him the head coach, right? Just make him a head coach. He's a player's coach. He's a guy that's going to galvanize the troops and do all that stuff. And I think you need a guy like that right now with the way that things have been going, right? We talked about not having a true leader in that locker room to really be that person. And if you don't have that person, then you absolutely need a head coach like him. Somebody who's going to get everybody fired up all the time. Even during practice, he's fired up. You know, he's headbutting helmets and all that. So you need, and let's be honest, we've seen it work for guys like Dan Campbell. So I like the idea of him being the Eagles head coach. Also, if I had to say, okay, who is a defense away? Well, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but these are the teams that are probably going to be knocking on the door. You're looking at Miami, because that's what they feel they are. They feel they're a defense away. And then you're talking about the Bengals. But I would have to say he's more than likely going to end up at the Eagles. I would say Eagles is the best place, but I think he'll end up somewhere else. I have no clue. But, you know, Eagles organization, I don't know what y'all doing right now. And I'd be shocked if you guys actually went out there and got Robert Saleh. But that's where I think he will have the most success. And that's where I think makes the most sense team-wise as well. So, since Howard Roseman has taken back over the general manager position, he has only hired coaches that he can have some level of control over. And that was Doug Peterson and Nick Sirianni. And both of them are ending in the same fashion, where the head coach feels stifled and kind of making a mutiny, which kind of creates a toxic environment within the organization. The same thing happened before; it's happening now. And I could go on a tangent about the Eagles for a long time. But I hear you. Yeah. But that's also a reason why, you know, that would be another reason why you don't think you can have it. Bill Belichick. I see that's getting tossed around a lot for the Jets' next head coach. I shot that down immediately. I said that man's problem That man's problem in Green Bay was he didn't have enough control, he thought. He didn't want to run LaFleur's offense. He didn't want to listen to LaFleur. He didn't want the players that they was trying to bring in. Like, if that's really your beef with Green Bay, and you go to the Jets, and he essentially has full control of the organization right now, Mark, the last person he wants to show up there is Bill Belichick. There is a 0% chance that Bill Belichick becomes the head coach of the Jets. I just want to put that out there for those people that think it's going to happen or think there's a chance. 0%. Okay. But with that said, who's going to be the next head coach? Man, I'll be honest with you. It's going to be whoever Aaron Rodgers feels like he can push over. That's going to be their next head coach. I don't know why they're sitting on this. I think if they can't find anybody, it's going to end up being Nathaniel Hackett by default. But I'm just telling you right now, it's one of those things where people are trying to see who's going to. Let's say Sean Payton gets fired. Sean Payton ain't going over there. Look, man, Aaron Rodgers ain't trying to deal with no head coaches that have a catch bag. Okay? And he's definitely not trying to deal with a head coach that ain't offensive minded. All right? I guess the only thing I can see is somehow Mike McDaniel gets fired and then he ends up over there. But as of right now, I'm going to have to say it's looking like Nathaniel Hackett is my best bet, and it might not even be him, Mark.
Well, all right. We'll put a pin in this because it's like I have something that I kind of want to respond with or just ask about, but I don't want to keep talking.
No. Let's go. Let's move on to something else. Yeah.
All right. So, with that, man, let's just talk. Let's just go ahead and switch to, since we're on coaches, NFL in-game coaching on the decline. What is happening in the NFL? This past week, we have watched multiple games where a team lost, not because the team on the other side was necessarily better, but because in the final moments when it came down to it, the coaching decisions were awful. We watched that from the Bills. We watched it from the Bengals.
Yep.
And we've seen it in past weeks from other teams, where the coaching decisions aren't making a whole lot of sense. I mean,
let's be honest. The Ravens I think Derrick Henry ran the ball once in the second half.
Yeah.
If you don't include overtime, it's.
I mean, we can even bring Mike Tomlin into it, talking about eliminating the stats of his number one receiver so that he could keep him fresh.
Yeah, George Pickens getting 59% of the snaps. Only playing 59% of the snaps is insanity. That's wide receiver 3 numbers.
And then we could talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, where Saquon Barkley is not. He has not had a touch of the football in the first quarter multiple times. Like, we could talk about.
Well, first off, that's crazy because you know how many yards per carry he's averaging? He's averaging 6 yards per carry.
We could bring it back to the Ravens with John Harbaugh originally saying that we didn't bring Derrick Henry here to carry the ball 25 plus times.
And lo and behold, this man done got him out of 2 jams already. 2 jams. Look, the coach. I don't know what's going on.
Which one do you want to start with? You want to start with the Bills and Sean McDermott?
Yeah, I absolutely want to start with the Bills and Sean McDermott, specifically because I thought better of Sean McDermott. I did, and I don't know why I did, because he's been showing us what he's been about for the last couple of years, man. And that's funny. But yeah, no, like Sean McDermott knows better. Sean McDermott is a defensive head coach. We talk about this. Defensive head coaches are usually the ones that, if anything, if they don't do nothing else right, Mark, they close out games properly when they have a lead because they say, we're going to run the ball. It goes hand in hand with playing defense. I want to keep the defense off the field, and I want to make sure that I'm wearing out the other defense. Running the ball, killing the clock, not putting the onus of winning the game on the defense, right? And it's like ever since Josh Allen started playing good there, Sean McDermott has just said, screw it. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Doesn't matter how much time is on the clock. We gonna throw that rock. We gonna put the ball. And I hate this statement now, Mark. This is a statement that I didn't used to mind, but I hate it now because of the way it's being used. Well, you gotta put the ball in the hands of your playmaker. You know what I'm saying? Look, you could have ran the ball with Josh Allen for all I care. I don't care.
Right.
But to drop him back, you're throwing the ball 3 times. You're also running trick plays. Who's running trick plays at the end of the game, Mark? You know how dangerous that is? What's wrong with these people, man? But yes, and this is what I guess I wanted to talk about this first for one specific reason. I'm going to be real. It was just a gateway for me to get to this Josh Allen nonsense. Look, man, he is not who you think he is, okay? He is not Brett Favre, okay? Y'all think he's Brett Favre. Y'all think he's going to throw a ball into a tight window perfectly to a receiver who can catch it, and I have yet to see him do that on a consistent basis since he's been in the NFL. But that's what you guys say. We'll dial it up. There's one-on-one coverage, wide receiver smothered. Your best receiver right now on the team is Shakur. Not like that can't be your game plan if those are your wide receivers. Okay, so so to me it's one of those things where there's no excuse for it. It's absolutely the reason why you lost the game. If you would have ran out the clock, you would have forced the overtime. I just don't. There's nothing about it that I understand.
Let me ask you, and I just had this thought, and we can get back to the main topic. Do you think the Bills' offense would have looked better this season, or at least it would look a little bit better passing-wise had Chase Claypool not gotten hurt and been available?
To be honest with you, man, I think it would look slightly better. And because everything would be dependent upon who Josh Allen likes. And I can't guarantee you that Josh Allen would have said Claypool's my guy. If Josh Allen comes into the season and says, you know what, I like my chemistry with Claypool, I'm going with him, then yes, I do believe it would be considerably better. But I don't know with him. I don't know with him, man. How you get beef with Stephon Diggs? I don't know. Like the way that Stephon Diggs looks at that man.
Time out. The way Stephon Diggs is moving, I understand exactly how you get beef with I understand exactly how you get beef with Stephon Diggs.
Look.
That dude is moving he is moving dishonorably. I promise you that.
Hey Mark, after I watched the interview with him saying it wasn't about the money and it wasn't what people thought it was in Minnesota, and then he proceeds to explain it to be exactly what everybody thought it was. That's when I knew he was different, Mark. That's when I knew. Yeah, I don't even think he realizes what he's doing. He doesn't. And yes, you're right. He is moving like a villain out here, Mark.
Doug, yo, if you are having relations with an 8-month pregnant woman, and you know of who that person is, and that like, your mindset is just not. You a cold dude. Like you a different breed. You a different breed. Like
What did he say? What did he say? It's a different animal, same beast. What Kobe say? Whatever Kobe said, that's him.
You're a different dog, but are you the same animal?
Yeah, whatever Kobe said, Stephon Diggs was that. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, I don't know about their season just because at the end of the day, I seen it with Stephon Diggs, and it seems to not matter the quality of the receiver. If you decide to always just say we are going to throw the ball 3 times when the game is on the line, no matter what part of the field we're on, no matter whether we're tied or we're leading, when you say that, you get the results that you get, and it's slightly better than 50% mark. That's all I know. And it didn't seem to matter when they had Stephon Diggs, and it doesn't seem to matter now.
Sean, let me ask you, bro.
What's up?
Could you have relations with?
No. This is very simple. This is very simple. It's not. I've never had easiest question of the day, Mark. Very simple. No. Very simple.
You couldn't even wrap your head around it, huh?
No, it's crazy knowing where that baby came from. You know where it came from. Like, first off, the 8 months pregnant is already bad enough. But especially if you know what's in there. You know exactly what's in there. You probably have an idea of what the baby gonna look like and everything. That's wild.
Can you imagine? Like, listen, in this particular case, for those that don't know, the rumor is that Cardi B had relations with Stephon Diggs when she was 8 months pregnant. And that was the person that Offset said that he didn't say who the guy was, but he said that she had sex with someone else while she was pregnant. He didn't even say how long it was, but now the rumor is that she was 8 months pregnant and it was Stephon Diggs that had sex with her. Could you, like, I don't understand, because as the female her, like, you've been cheated on a bunch of times by this person and all that stuff and all that. Like, I get it. You don't give a shit no more. I understand it from her perspective. Like, you don't care about none of that no more, or whatever is going on. And then, hormones are pregnant. I get it. Basically is what I'm saying. But as the guy, what is going through your head, sir? Like, if that's not your homie, already, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a best man situation where you like, dang, I hooked her up with him. I feel like it's partly my responsibility.
You saying he wasn't overcome with emotions? That's not how it happened.
Like, there was nothing, like, there was no connection to this person prior. She just hit you up and you was like, yeah, that's my bag right there. Wildness.
Hey, look, you know what I hate? I hate when people make me use words that I thought I would never have to use in an actual sentence. The question, like, if you heard, hey man, somebody slept with this chick that was 8 months pregnant. The first thing, like you said, you can understand her in her situation. But the first question that comes to your mind is like, who's the slime ball? Who's the slime ball that did this though? Like, who was a grimy enough person? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. I never had to use the word slime ball before, Mark. That's the first time. But that's how else do you describe that? Like,
yo, like, Stephon Diggs is a different dude. Like, they show him cutting his eyes at Josh Allen and stuff. Like, bro, you the one who wanted out. Like, you the one who wanted out. You're the person that was getting 100 targets, over 100 targets a season. And
no, he was getting over 100 catches a season.
Yeah, you're right.
Who knows what the targets were?
Yeah, like, he was getting over. You're the person that's getting over 100 catches per season, and was like, it's not enough. Like, that's you.
Yo,
like, what? Like, that's like, and you looking at Josh Allen cutting your eyes.
Yeah, you see in the Keyshawn clip, between Keyshawn and Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin said, "That's bogus, boy. You get 100 catches a year and you still not happy." And then you see Keyshawn like, "But you need to give me the ball. I need those 100 catches when it matters." And I'm like, I literally watch Bills games being lost because Josh Allen is forcing a ball to Stephon Diggs in double coverage 50 yards down the field when it's 3rd and 3. Okay, I've seen it. I see it. Yeah, I don't know what. Is it one of those situations where you lie to yourself so much that you start believing your own lie? Like he created his own reality in his head. Yeah, he never threw me the ball when the game was on the line. Like what? Like I want to know what happened, bro. Like I really want to know. But yeah, no. All right, let's move on to another coaching blunder. We spent a lot of time on that.
Well, yeah, another coaching blunder would be the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, the Bengals, man, and I'm aware of what this might sound like, Mark, but I'm just gonna dive right into this. So you have overtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great comeback for Lamar to push the team to tie the game to get them into overtime. They get the rock first. That possession ends with Lamar Jackson just dropping the ball. He caught the snap. It wasn't even like a fumbled snap. He caught it, took a step and a half back, and it just fell out of his hands, Mark. Okay? You are the Cincinnati Bengals. You are reeling right now, okay? You are 1-3, Mark, as the Cincinnati Bengals, and you guys look like you're going to have a top 8 pick in the draft. You've just been gift-wrapped the game. You know what I'm saying? You just been gift-wrapped the game. All you need is a field goal. The ball, you receive possession of the ball on the 40-yard line across the 50. You're in their territory on the 40-yard line, Mark. After the game that Lamar had, Mark, complete gift. Bro, y'all are running the ball, and you're not even actually trying to run the ball. You legitimately just line up with 3 tight ends, and you guys just say, okay, cool, we're going to run it directly. We're not even going to hide it. We're going to run it directly in the middle. Cool, boom. And then the second run, I'm like, surely they're going to do something else. They line up the same exact way, and they run the ball the same exact way. The third carry, all they did, I think he ran the ball for 0 yards, and all he did was line it up in the middle. Okay, Mark? So the game plan was to kick like a 58-yarder. Granted, it wasn't 58. It was more, I think, they gained a couple of yards on the first couple. So your plan was to kick like a 55-yard field goal. That's insanity. Way worse than the Buffalo Bills call. Way worse. I will even accept you putting the ball in the hands of your playmaker. You have Joe Burrow, Mark. You have Joe Burrow on your team, man. Did you see the pictures of Joe Burrow sitting on the bench after the field goal miss?
No.
Sick, bro. He looked exactly like you think he would look, Mark. After that, sick to his stomach, man. Question: who's their running backs right now? Their lead running back is Zach Moss, right?
Right.
What's Zach Moss known for?
Catching the ball.
What are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? Absolutely atrocious. You missed the field goal, and then immediately pay for it. Derrick Henry ripped off a 62-yard run. Rest is history. Like you said earlier, Mark, this is going to be a feather in the cap game. This is a statement game for Lamar Jackson. If things heat up from this point on for the for the Ravens, they're going to look to this game and say, this was the game.
Well, Lamar Jackson finally had his statement play as a passer. Like, he finally had his statement play as a passer. I think every great passer has a play, like, where you look at it and you're like you can see it 1,000 times and you just be like, that dude's amazing. Now, for me, like, Patrick Mahomes is on a pass that was incomplete. It's on an incomplete pass.
I was gonna say, it gave me the same feeling
Like it was
the same feeling, Mark.
Like when Patrick Mahomes threw that ball 40 yards down the field, parallel to the ground, and it went directly to who he was aiming at. I was like, that's insane. Too bad Tyreek Hill didn't catch it. But anyway, but this play with Lamar Jackson it's like the Donovan McNabb running behind the line of scrimmage for 10 seconds and still getting the pass off. Like that's what it was like. This dude was moving back and forth. He
got tripped up, Mark.
He gets off the meanest stiff arm I've ever like.
Yeah, like it was. You know what was so beautiful about it, Mark? It was consecutive after another. He barely escapes this person. He goes this way. He barely escapes that one. He gets tripped up. He's stumbling. While he's stumbling, he stiff arms a guy, and then he
stiff arms the guy to the ground. Like
I'm like, what, Mark? I'm not even gonna hold you, man. I was like, yo, what's really happening out here? And then I thought to myself, surely this isn't gonna be a completed pass. Absolute dime, bro. I don't even know. Like, like that was it, Mark. I was like, you can't. That is the pinnacle of being a quarterback. You can't make a better play than that as a quarterback.
Yeah, like, cause all his statement plays where he's running, like he's running. Like I mean, he's a quarterback, but he's running. Like so, it just doesn't have the same feel.
He's very nice. You're nicer than 99.9% of the running backs in the league at running. So when he jukes somebody out of the shoes, you just kind of expect it,
right?
know?
But that passing play, that was nice. That was nice. I hope that is something that like he can bottle that and continue that feeling,
recreate that,
and down the line, and that because if he's able to do that, the Ravens are stepping into something good, really good.
Hey, real quick, sidebar that has absolutely nothing to do with our podcast. In the league, the Washington Commanders in our Madden League just beat the brakes off of the Cowboys 45-7, Mark. I thought it was going to be a clean sweep. He had 31 points with like 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Do you think he was upset about something that happened earlier? I'm going to ask him later. I'm going to ask him after we get off the pod. But yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Leave that man alone. He been barely winning games, man. Now you got this dude all wild up. Go ahead.
Like, that was crazy, man. That was crazy. Speaking of Madden, if anybody's in here and you play Madden, we have a few spots left in our Madden League, so go ahead and hit us up. You get us up on Facebook or the Messenger, and you can feel free to join that league if you like. But anyway, outside of that, let's get back to it. Any other crazy plays happened this past week that you care to talk about?
There was a lot of field goals getting blocked, man. There was a lot of field goals getting blocked this week. That one where Seattle was trying to tie up the game to send it to overtime, and theirs got blocked and ran back for a touchdown. Craziness. You know what? Nah, if there's one particular play that I would want to bring up, it's gonna be the Kyler Murray run. Bro, I was trying to turn the game on my TV, and I immediately got a message: 50 yards, Kyler Murray. I'm like, what the 50-yard run? What happened? Man, by the time I get it on, I'm seeing replays of Kyler Murray completely just taking off, calling the touchdown 40 yards before he got, at the 40-yard line, he's calling the touchdown. And it was just so disgusting to see the defense jogging. I get it. You're like, screw it, he got it. No, man, show me something, bro. Show me some heart. Show me somebody trying to hawk him down. Something, bro. It was the most. I was like, is this the type of game that we're gonna have today? And yes, it is. It's exactly the type of game that we had. So, but yes, shout out to Kyler Murray. He is the Niners killer. The one thing that our defense completely sucks at every single year is stopping Kyler Murray from running. We can stop him from throwing for whatever reason. We cannot stop that man from running all over the place.
Well, real quick, I don't know if you noticed, but you guys have a similar situation that happened for the last 2 quarterbacks, and now the same situation is going on, or could be going on with Brock Purdy. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Not 100%, but if it's anything dealing with any 49ers patterns, I'm probably aware of it.
All right. Are you aware of how Colin Kaepernick got his job as the 49ers wide receiver? And are you aware of how... Hold on. Are you aware of how... what was it? Jimmy Garoppolo got his job in how well he played at first as well.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I found it. Give me 1 second because I'm going to bring it up.
Well, I'll say this. Kaepernick, when he got his job, he took us to the he played the Super Bowl right away. Jimmy G, in his first healthy season, we went to the Super Bowl. His first healthy full season. And Jimmy G did not lose a game. That half a season that he came to play. Yeah.
This guy's gonna recap it all for everybody.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm very familiar with
About to relive the same nightmare over again? Something strange has been happening with San Fran's QBs over the past 15 years. Going back about a decade and a half, Colin Kaepernick would take the starting role from Alex Smith when he would be injured mid-season. And in his first 27 games as a starter, Cap went 20-7 at a 62% completion percentage, averaged 267 yards per game, with a touchdown-interception ratio of 45-14. Cap then went all the way to the Super Bowl, was late and missed a throw to lose the game. Then his play fell off a cliff, and Jimmy G would take over as the starting quarterback of the 49ers when Kaepernick would be canceled by the owners of the league for kneeling during the national anthem. In Jimmy G's first 27 games as a starter of the San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy's overall record was 21-6. He had a 67% completion percentage, averaged 246 yards per game, and had a TD-INT ratio of 40-24. Jimmy G made it to the Super Bowl, missed a big throw late in the game, and would be replaced as the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers by Brock Purdy when he would get injured. And in Brock Purdy's first 27 games, he's 21-6. He has a 67% completion percentage. He's averaging 248 yards per game. He's on 48 touchdowns on 14 interceptions. Brock Purdy went to the Super Bowl and missed a throw late in the game to possibly lose it. I guess we'll see what happens to Brock Purdy next. Are the 49ers...
All right.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting how he's reaching on some of that stuff, but that's a very good video by whoever that was that put that together. I like the video. He's reaching on some of it, but if you're not a Niners fan, you're not gonna know.
Just keep everything above board. That is the NFL Mike.
Got it.
Who created that? That's so.
Yeah, there's differences, Jimmy.
But
neither one of them got replaced right away.
I know, but what he's saying is 27 games is the magic number before dudes start falling off the cliff. And the team starts falling apart. Hit 27 games, and now you guys is out here taking L's.
Well, no, that's not true. Because if you look at the only 27 game mark that is even remotely close to that would be Colin Kaepernick. Because after that, I think he played one more season before they ran Jim Harbaugh out of there, and then we end up in that situation. Then you look at Jimmy G. People are acting like Jimmy G didn't also continually still go to NFC Championship games after that. Our record was still great after that. Jimmy G does not have a bad record as a Niner. He has actually, as starting quarterbacks go for that time period, the only quarterback that has as good a record as him, if I'm not mistaken, is either Tom Brady or what's his name, Lamar Jackson. No, like Jimmy G has the record. Like he's like top 3 in win-loss record after that point. So I'm not paying attention to that now. But what they said was Jimmy G started playing bad and he got replaced. Newsflash: he's playing bad. He's playing bad after his first full season. It didn't take 27 games. But yes, and with Brock Purdy, slightly different. Same thing. We're not. There's no. This is the second worst start that we can come to with a healthy starting quarterback since in the Kyle Shanahan era. So a little bit, if it continues this way, maybe it's true, but yes, those other two's a little reachy. It's a little reachy, but I like it though. I like the research he did.
All right.
I don't think it means nothing, but
oh wow, okay.
I
don't think it means nothing. Wow, you.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. But yes.
Looks like you lost another one.
All right, cool. No problem, man.
You want to talk about trends? Didn't you discover a trend?
What's that?
With the Lions?
Oh yes, I did. I did discover a trend with the Lions. I'm on it. So here's the thing. Since we're doing NFL recap, Giants won a surprise game, I guess, because they defeated the Seahawks. But there's an NFL trend apparently that if you play the Seahawks, you are going to get your doors.
Not the Seahawks, the Lions.
I mean, yeah, if you play the Lions, you are going to get your doors blown off the very next week. I'm about to bring the video up right now. I just have to find which one it was. All right, here we go.
Oh no, you put Chris. Just for the record, no, we did not talk about Riley Moss.
All right.
Not yet.
All right, here you go. Here's the thing this is from Chris Long on his show, or his podcast, The Green Light.
Betting tip here. Teams that play the Lions do not typically perform well next week. Seriously, go back and look. What happened to the Rams the next week? Did that look like a team that was going to beat San Francisco, albeit with all those injuries on San Francisco's side? There's a hangover when you play the Lions. I went back last night and I went through like 16, 17, 18 weeks. I think the majority of games, the team that plays the Lions the next week, they struggle.
The hangover effect of playing the Lions is real. This year, at least, 3 teams have been run out of the building the week after they played the Lions. The Campbell hangover is real. The first one was the Rams. The next week they got throttled by this team. Then it was Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay got throttled by God's team, Reed. And then yesterday, the Cardinals got run on for 200 plus yards.
If the Giants blow the Seahawks out, then this Detroit thing is really real, the Campbell hangover.
The Campbell hangover might keep this thing close. As I've mentioned, Cardinals, Rams, Bucks all suffered from Campbell hangovers so far this season. And if this team loses this game, it is a thing, bro. You might as well rest your starters when you play Detroit. I wish the team started just trotting out the back. It would be a major mindfuck.
Maybe a little betting tip here. Teams that play the Lions do not tip.
All right, so there you go, guys. You see it.
Yeah, the Seahawks played the Lions, the week prior.
Mm-hmm.
They end up losing their game.
Losing the game to the Giants. They had no business losing to the Giants.
And then nobody had the Giants beating them, man. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see nobody come in here and say they knew they had a chance. You didn't know nothing, man. And you didn't know it was going to end on a field goal block.
Well, Chris Long did.
That's correct. Well, somebody did, right? Yeah. So I do want to talk about this one, Mark, because this one does have teeth to it, Mark. There's so many things you got to worry about when you play the Lions. You got to imagine having to worry about Jahmyr Gibbs just doing any and everything from everywhere on the field, running the ball, catching the ball, end around. And then you got to worry about Jameson Williams on end around. You got to worry about then you got to switch up your whole mindset when David Montgomery is back there because he's the
he'll punch you in the mouth.
So what?
Because he'll punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're getting beat up every which way, and then the offensive play calling is creative. Like as a defense, just as a defense, okay, you're worn the F out, and then you got to worry about Amon-Ra. We didn't even mention Amon-Ra. Like Sam Laporta still plays for this team, and then if the protection holds up. And I'm going to state this again. Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback in the league if the protection holds up. Okay, he starts to drop down if you can get pressure on him. He drops considerably, but with perfect protection, no, he's going to eat you alive. There's too many things to worry about. And then when you think you got things figured out, you got to worry about Dan Campbell gambling every single time. Like you literally have to play that game to the last second. And you gotta keep your head on the swivel for trick plays or for Dan Campbell's gambling plays. It's a full thing that you have to game plan for. And I think it's physically and mentally taxing when they play against the Lions. And that's why they come out there specifically and especially the defenses somehow can't play defense today.
All right. That's fair. I don't have anything else to really add to that, so I'll just let it be and leave it right there. But I will be betting accordingly.
Yeah, I'm paying attention. So my parlays ain't been hitting at all, man. So I gotta find something and grasp.
I will be paying attention to this moving forward, though. That's for certain. One thing's for sure, two things for certain, as they say.
Unfortunately, they had a bye week 5, so we gotta wait another week to finish it.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's use this because you brought up Jared Goff. Let's use this to move on to this topic here. Were these quarterbacks actually that bad, or what happened? But you know what? I want to amend this from not just the quarterback standpoint, and I'm just going to ask this from any player standpoint. Is there a such thing as a bust player, or is there just a such thing as a bust situation?
That's a good question. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think both exist. But I think...
But before you start to answer,
okay,
the reason why I wanted to amend this from just not just being the quarterbacks and being everyone is because as we were talking, I thought about David Montgomery.
Yeah.
David Montgomery was essentially a bust in Chicago.
Yeah.
He wasn't anything in Chicago.
I talked all kind of bad things about him, Mark, about what I thought of him as a running back. Not like name calling, but he didn't look like a good running back, Mark. Let's call it what it was.
Devin Singletary was not great for the Bills. He
might not be great right now, but he looks a lot better than
he looked a lot better in Houston, and he looks a lot better for the Giants than he ever did for the Bills.
Zach Moss looked better than he did when he was with the Bills. The list can go on when you talk about Bills and Bears running backs.
Right. So when I bring these players up, and now we're talking about the quarterbacks, where Justin Fields is winning games, Sam Darnold is winning games, Jared Goff, although he did go to the Super Bowl with the Rams, he went into a slump, and then the Lions, he woke up. New situation, better situation for him. He woke up. You got Baker Mayfield. The list can continue. So I guess the question now would be, so that's what begs the question. Is there a such thing as a bust player, or is there just bust situations?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think when I think both, bust situation is the Bears. That's a perfect. I'm glad that you picked the running back from there, because that is a bust situation, man. Let's be honest. We've talked about how much we did not believe in their OC at the time. Who the heck was the OC head coach? You know, I don't know why I can't remember his name right now.
I'll find it.
He was there for years, and everybody kept calling him an offensive genius. Man was trash the whole time. No, not Gase. Because remember, the Patriot. I mean, the Chiefs picked him up last year as OC.
Hold on.
And he managed to find a way to make Patrick Mahomes look below average. But either way, that's it. That the offensive situation.
Are you talking about Matt Nagy?
Matt Nagy. He himself might just be a bust situation. But what I'm saying is, he did not utilize those running backs the correct way. We always thought that the running backs always looked worse than they should. They always looked less consistent than they should. The Bears in general, though, was a bust situation. Let's be honest. Other than this last game, DeAndre Swift really was looking crazy out there. DeAndre Swift was looking like he was looking like the worst running back in the NFL, because he was only averaging 1.7 yards per carry. Like, that is a situation where it doesn't matter who you put there. Saquon could have been on that team, and Saquon probably would have put up worse numbers than he did when he was in New York the last season. So that's a bust situation, right? Mm-hmm. But bust players do exist. I think of Trent Richardson not being able to find a 5-yard hole in the line of scrimmage, but I'm going to answer this question a little bit more directly, Mark. This question came about because of a lot of the quarterbacks. I know you mentioned running backs. But I want to specifically talk about the guys like Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, especially like guys like Geno Smith and Jared Goff. And I'll ask it this way to you and whoever's watching. Are they not busts? Were they good the whole time? Or is this just a scenario of them playing like veteran quarterbacks who've been around the league long enough to know how to play within themselves, paired with them being in a system that fits them?
All right.
Because that's what I believe I'm seeing from guys like Geno Smith and Jared Goff. And
all right. Well,
even Sam Darnold.
Well, here's the thing. Sam Darnold, definitely a situation that allows him to play within himself. Geno Smith. Hold on. Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. Guys that have been around the block and have experienced and learned some things that they are now applying to their current play styles, and it's benefiting them. Baker Mayfield more so with being humbled and having to really reevaluate himself. And I think he did the work with he had talent, but there was a certain level of God's gift to the game that he carried around when he first joined, and that kind of followed him for his tenure in Cleveland. And I think now he's grown, he's matured, and that's what we're seeing now. But Jared Goff, I think the situation with the Rams just soured, and now he's in a different situation, allowed to be himself, and he's back to being what he was when he first got to the Rams. Because when it came to Jared Goff, it wasn't like he was bad out the gate or anything like that.
I don't think Jared Goff
was actually really good out the gate. Like
I want to be very clear. I've never thought Jared Goff was ever bad.
Right.
He just wasn't the godsend quarterback that people thought that he was supposed to be.
Right. And now Jared Goff is like, I think that may be a part of it too, is that there's a lowered expectation from these people that these days to now it's a more realistic expectation, and they're living up to the realistic expectation now versus before they were expected a higher expectation that they couldn't possibly live up to. Like Baker Mayfield was drafted as a number 1 overall quarterback. Like Baker Mayfield, even though he's playing well now, he's not Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? He's not Tom Brady. He's not Patrick Mahomes. And those are the type of, when you get a number 1, you're expecting to get Andrew Luck out the box. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was
you're expecting him to be the franchise quarterback at 22, not the franchise quarterback at 28, right?
Right. So that's a bit of an unrealistic expectation for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
So now there's a lowered expectation for Baker Mayfield, and it's like, well, he's living up to that. He's a good quarterback, and it's like, well, no, we are just finally setting our expectations to something that is achievable, and now so it looks good by comparison. That could possibly be it too.
I agree with that, and it's funny. I see Chris said, I think Baker and Geno both show flashes of greatness, but now have figured it out with the systems they're in to be consistent. I'm going to repackage that, Mark, and say these are guys that I saw in college that I knew that they would not be able to do the things in college that they were able to do. They would not be able to do them in the NFL. These are 2 guys that I knew that about. Geno, people might not remember, Geno was amazing in college. Okay, the way that he played was not going to translate directly. Baker Mayfield, the way that he played was not going to translate directly. And like you said, sometimes it takes humbling to understand that as a player. Because I'm with you. I think Baker still thought that he was going to be able to do those things and play that same way. He wasn't changing his game for the NFL. I do not think he was when he was in Cleveland. And then to make matters worse, he was on a losing team, losing franchise, and it just makes you want to play superhero even more. You have to realize that you can't, all right? So not only are the expectations lower to what they should have been in the first place, but
remember, he was like talking trash to veterans.
They could. Defensive players were marking it on their calendar when they were going to play the Browns because everybody wanted a piece of Baker. He was talking crazy. They remember. So he was talking crazy before he played a down. So, Geno Smith and Baker are guys that were used to being a certain level in college, thinking that they could come into the league and play that way, and finding out the hard way that they couldn't. Now, Geno was 33 years old, Mark. I don't know how you expect him to play, but that's what I mean by being a vet and playing within himself. He's playing like a guy that has been around the league for 11 years. Okay, I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but once you've played that long and once you've been allowed to be on rosters and be in camp and do all that stuff, this is what I would expect for somebody that especially was drafted in the first round as a quarterback, or it was the first quarterback taken. So he's playing exactly the way that he should be playing as a 33-year-old first round quarterback draft pick. Okay?
All right, real quick. Let me just let's wrap this part up here with saying, who would you consider like there's bust, like we understand that you saying that there's both there's bust situations.
Yes. Oh, I
and
can
bust players.
yeah.
All right, so who in the NFL today are you just flat out like, nah, that's a bust player? Not a bust situation, that's a bust player. I'll start. Bryce Young. I 100% feel as though that is not a bust situation. That is a bust player. And yes, the Carolina Panthers may not be great, but I feel as though that is a bust player. And that is based on my eye test. When I watch that dude play, and I bring this up often, I watched him miss people that were 5 to 10 yards away from him. Like, how are you inaccurate within 5 to 10 yards? Blows my mind. I do not understand it. Like, so, like, and that's not, oh, they're getting pressure or any of that other outside influence nonsense. You are missing people within 5 to 10 yards away from you. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So,
I'll say this. This is I think that's a bust player in a semi-bust situation. I don't think that's a complete bust situation, Mark. I don't think their offensive line is horrible. I don't think that they have a lack of weapons. Maybe you don't like the type of weapon. Maybe you would. That's not your preference, but Adam Thielen is still a dog.
Right. Xavier Legette.
He still knows how to get open. He still knows he can still catch cover balls. Deontay Johnson, as much as I hate him, he's one of the best route runners in the league. He will be open at some point during the game. He's probably going to be open most points during the game. If you show me that he's dropping the ball, get the ball to him and show me that he's dropping the ball, right? Xavier Legette is, they said between him and Rome Odunze, they might be the best athletes at wide receiver that came out in this draft. So you have guys, okay? You have guys. They just showed that the running game's working. I just look at it and say that the Carolina Panthers situation is not a bust situation completely. And he looks like a bust to me. Absolutely. The only other bust that I can say off the top of my head out of anybody that's somewhat young is Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is a complete bust. I don't care if people think that he can be redeemed. He has shown me that this right here, composure. I don't even have to dig into it any further than that. Composure is what he lacks. And as a quarterback, when you're under duress every single snap, you've got 4 to 6 guys coming at you full speed. You know what I'm saying? Like 300-pound guys, 260-pound guys that run 4.40s, and they're coming to bring harm to you. Okay? And if that bothers you every single down, then you're just not a quarterback. You're not an NFL quarterback.
Right.
So that's what I see with Zach Wilson is he lacks composure.
All right. Cool. All right, I'm with it. I feel it. All right, man. I don't have a whole lot left, but I do have something I want to share before we get out of here. This is something I watched. I watched this earlier, and I thought it was hilarious. This is a reenactment, like a voiceover recap of Ronnie's first game with his dad. So I just want to share that just shits and gigs. All right. That's that over. Oh, there it go.
Son, he better not make me look bad. I'll whoop his ass. This is my big moment. I get to play with my dad on TV. All right, finna make a play. AR-15.
Nope.
That don't count. Come on, Ralph. Moving screen on Bronny. Hey, Ralph, what the fuck, man? Why you picking on my son? Look, don't start this shit, okay? He's not in high school anymore.
Bronny, make me proud, son.
You betcha, Dad. Oh, sorry, Dad.
Hey, Brian, you need to retire. The nepotist.
Who said that? Was it him? Hey, Ralph. Hey, you.
Get his ass
out
out of here.
Somebody call security.
I said, out of here. Retire. Want him out. Brian's a nepotist.
Hey, shut your ass up and get the fuck out.
Here comes security.
Get your ass out. Man, what are y'all doing? Look, I ain't do nothing. All right, come on. I ain't do nothing. This way, come on.
Why y'all throwing me out?
Come on, buddy.
I ain't do nothing.
Ron said he wanted your ass out of here, so we gotta throw your ass out of here. Come on. Get the fuck out.
You're 22. Get that out of here. And I still got hops.
Oh, wow. My dad's so cool.
AR over here. Bronny, it's your time to shine.
Okay, here goes nothing. Ah, hell no. Travel on, Bronny. Ah, come on. It's my birthday.
No.
Ah, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's funny. But what I did want to say about that, the first part, the moving screen. Hey, look, man, that play right there.
That was a wild moving screen.
Well, it wasn't even a moving screen. Here's the thing. That's experience. That played you, son. You were trying to move out of the way,
right?
And you let that man put his arm around you and put his body in front of your shoulder and made it look like you was moving him out of the way on a moving screen. You got it. Let's see. This is why you need time, son, because you don't have that experience to know that these are the tricks that are being played. You know what I'm saying? If you would have had any amount of actual starter minutes in college, then these are things that you may have experienced. Maybe not, I don't know, but yeah, everything about it just says you're not supposed to be there. But that was crazy,
hey,
though.
Man, tell them how you really feel.
I wouldn't have felt for that. That's how I feel. I wouldn't have felt for that. You're not gonna hold me and then pull me towards you like, nah, man, help me. What you doing, man? It's crazy. You just look lost out there, man. Anyway, yeah. That Braun treats his son like Kid Gohan. Hey, look, he's not Kid Gohan.
All right, man. So
what else, man?
Regular season started. No, not this.
No, it's preseason right now still, yeah.
All right. When is regular season officially starting?
It's the update on the Natalie beef. Cowboys and Commanders going back and forth. You know, Cowboys accused Commanders of using what did he say? Straight YouTube misalignment plays. How they letting you get away with that, and it's banned in every league. Look, I can't wait to get back to this podcast. But yeah, looks like we fired up right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, NBA is about to start. If you want to get into I'll be honest with you, man. There's only one bit of player. There's only two player movements that I want to talk about.
Okay.
I want to talk about playoff P, and I want to talk about Russ. That's it. I don't want to talk about nothing else. Playoff P and Russ. Which one you want to start with, Mark?
I'm gonna start with Russ.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with Russ. Russ, man, I'm excited for Denver. I'm excited for Russ. That first preseason game, Russ looked great. He had great numbers in limited minutes. So yeah, man, I like it. I really like what I saw from him. And I'm loving the idea that, he gets to drive the lane and drop it off to a giant center who or dish it out to a giant center who's going to hit that shot. Like wherever he hits Jokic is going to hit that shot. So like we are looking at a possibility of Russ having a triple-double season again. Like,
well, we know he's going to have the assist numbers. That's what I say. He's on the right team for it. He's on a team that's used to ball movement, Mark. He's on a team that's used to. As long as they have Michael Carter Williams on the team, who never passes the ball, he only shoots the ball.
Right.
Yeah, like, no, he's on the right team for the way that he wants to play. I'm going to predict that 20-plus point games from Russ are not going to be commonplace. Because I think Russ is going to probably fall somewhere between averaging probably like 15 to 17 points a game. Just because he's going to have I think he's just on the right team to where he can just distribute. And obviously, he's not the type of player that's going to try to take the ball out of Jokic's hands. He's shown that even with another facilitator, he won't do that. So, yes, I wholeheartedly believe that you're talking about, if he gets a triple-double season, you're talking probably, let's say, 15, 10, and 12. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. That's what I'm looking at, but I'm excited to see it because I love to see Russ prove people wrong when they think that he's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? And what I also like to do is see how it manifests itself to how he's going to seemingly elevate somebody's play. I don't know whose play is going to elevate on that team, but somebody's play is going to be elevated because Russ is on it. I wholeheartedly believe that. So, yeah. So, what else is there? Yeah. Did you want to talk any more about the Russ situation?
No, man. I don't want to get into the prediction of it, man. I'm just excited for it. I want to see it. Like, I wish I had some in-depth analysis to bring to it or something like that, but I really don't, man. I just want to see it in action. I want to see what it looks like. I'm excited for the first time that a team is going to trust him to have the ball again. Like, yeah. and there's not a guy who is going to want to be essentially a ball dominant shooting guard.
Yeah.
Like there is no ball. Like, let's face it, man. James Harden is a ball dominant shooting guard running around as a point guard.
Yeah.
Like, and anytime that he has to truly play point guard, it doesn't last long. Anytime that he has to play off the ball, it doesn't last long. Like, he goes back to being the ball dominant guy and whatever. And then, LeBron is LeBron, and LeBron refuses to not have the ball in his hand no matter who he's playing with. I mean, the dude played with Rajon Rondo, and essentially they had to play separate because he refused not to have the ball in his hand. And Rajon Rondo is one of the greatest point guards ever. So, like, I mean, as far as what's going on up here, and knowing the game, Rajon Rondo is one of the best point guards ever. So,
yes, ever. Yes, yeah.
So, and the fact that LeBron didn't want to stop being the ball dominant dude then, like, so it's nice to know that he's actually going to be able to be a point guard again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, I like that too, man. Well, let's move on to. All right, I'll do you a favor. I'll stop calling them playoff teams. Okay, Paul George. Let's move on to Paul George. Paul George, obviously, you guys know he's with the Sixers now. I'm semi excited to see this. And the only reason why I'm excited to see this, Mark, is because I would love to see the excuses that people come up with for Paul George. I want to know. I want to know what creative way they're going to talk their way out of this. He's paired up with everybody. He just continually moves the better teams to a better team to a better team, Mark. Right? He's in the best situation he could possibly be in for him as a player. Matter of fact, it's the first time that you're on a team and you're not even being asked to be the primary scorer. You're not a 1A or a 1B. You are a number 2 guy as far as scoring, and you don't even have to be that because they got Tyrese Maxey. Mark, what excuses do you think they're going to come up with for Paul Pierce? So do you think this is the year that everybody wakes up and says, you know what? Maybe he's just not the guy.
Well, Paul George, I think, I realized a lot of times I've given Paul George crap because people say, well, like they call him playoff P and all that other stuff, and then he does not live up to those things, and then so it leads us to giving him crap. I want to have a mature take for a second.
Okay, mature take.
Paul George is a great player.
He is.
Paul George is not a Hall of Fame level player. Paul George is not a championship level player either. Paul George is a great player though. And there are many players that have come and gone that were not Hall of Fame level, that were not playoff, that were not championship level, but were great, and we remember them as great. Paul George is he's exactly that. He will be remembered as great. He is great, but don't expect shit from the Sixers team because he does not add any championship level value to this team.
You feel like that's what the team is missing?
Yes, they are missing a championship level value person, somebody that has the maturity that when things are down or when things aren't quite going their way, they have the ability to force it.
He said he's not a Hall of Fame level player. Is he going to get into the Hall? Yeah, he's going to.
Yeah, everybody gets into the Hall. If you ever average 20 points in the season, you're going into the Hall.
Look, I want to be very clear about this because I don't think people understand that the NBA, out of all the Hall of Fames, the NBA one is a joke. You know why? Because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's the reason why people somebody could just be amazing at college and then have a decent enough career in the NBA, and they will get into the Basketball Hall of Fame for the combination of both. Okay, so you don't have to be, and like you said, it's the one Hall of Fame that everybody gets in, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know he's not saying what I think he's saying.
Hey, he is saying Paul George and Sean Kemp are the same person.
No, absolutely not. Now, Sean Kemp had a health and discipline problem once he got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, basically the Cleveland Browns of the NBA. maybe his attitude needed adjusting. But that's totally different.
Paul George.
I have
Paul George may be Gilbert Arenas with a better attitude.
Nah, that's closer. You're getting close. I'm telling you, there is a current NBA equivalent right now, Mark, that everybody's just ignoring.
Oh yeah, who's that?
He's Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. Shit.
The talent. He has Hall of Fame talent on both sides of the ball. But he has championship talent on both sides of the ball. But he ain't a championship player. Somebody might say that AD won a championship.
It looks like you lost him.
I would say that he needs to go and thank Rondo for that. Well, some would say he comes with an asterisk. I'm not one of those people. All I'm saying is, some would say it came with an asterisk, and some would say that he needs to go thank Rondo for that, or maybe even LeBron. I don't know. Maybe he needs to thank COVID for that, Mark. I don't know, but all I'm saying is, AD, Paul George, and I would still put AD a little bit above Paul George. Because most of his crux is health. But yes, it's the same thing. Should they be Hall of Fame? These guys should be both top 5 players in the league. Both of them should be in the MVP conversation every year based on their talent and their skill sets. And somehow, yet and still, they're not anywhere near there every single year.
Okay.
So that's my current NBA equivalent. He's AD.
Oh no!
But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, neither one of them want to be in charge. Neither one of them want to be a leader. Like none of that.
All right, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Well,
if Kawhi doesn't get hurt, do you think they beat the Bucks in the finals? Mark, I'm going to tell you. You can answer this if you want to. I refuse to answer any questions that start off with if Kawhi doesn't get hurt. If he doesn't get hurt, he's not playing. Even when he's healthy, he's just a scratch. What are you talking about? That man has found a way to play 25 games a year. I don't want to hear about what if he's healthy. If he's healthy, he's just gonna say he's hurt. I don't think he's gonna say he needs a load management day. I don't know what you want from me, man. How am I supposed to answer that question?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But look, guys, that's all we got for you for today's episode. We managed to make it 2 hours. Yay! Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Listen, so I want to say this, as I always do, whenever you're watching these sports games and sports entities and betting on them and things of that nature, remember this: it's only entertainment. These things are called sports entertainment businesses for a reason. Just like the WWE, I can fix the fight. If I want, I can make it so that Undertaker defeats Hulk Hogan. Now, every once in a while, you have a rogue situation where Hulk Hogan gets a hair up his butt and decides, I'm not going to let you pin me. But it doesn't happen too often. So remember this, man. Bet accordingly. Bet accordingly to those things, man. Think about it. Always say to yourself,
fight it.
What do they want to see happen? You saw that Chiefs Saints game, right? That Chiefs Saints game said, what do they want to see happen? They want the Chiefs to win, right? Chiefs could have pulled it out on their own. Ref said, I'm going to make sure that the Chiefs pull it out. That pass interference, I'm not going to throw that flag. I didn't see it.
Hey, you thought the coaches need to be investigated for sports betting. you might want to look into the NFL itself.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, hey, that's fair. But listen, hey, they probably got Otane's assistant out there throwing out bets for him right now.
Right. I'll questionable play calling towards the end of these games. That's all.
All right. So, like I said, guys, that's all we got. Link, like, subscribe. As always, hit that like button. Hit the share button, just so somebody else may want to see it, or they click on it, whatever. Do all those things for us, please. We appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching. We will be back next Tuesday. We also have an episode coming up. If we could get it recorded tomorrow, we have an episode coming up where it'll just be us talking about Aaron Rodgers and how much he has gotten away with up until this point, more or less. And we'll just talk about how trash the Jets are as well. But anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks. Peace.